June 6, 2013. Inside NSA headquarters, screens flash red. Classified slides marked "Top Secret" appear across every news channel in the world. PRISM, the program that proves Google, Facebook, and Apple have been feeding your private data directly to the government. One day earlier, another bomb dropped. Verizon handed over records of every single phone call made by 120 million Americans, all of it tracked, logged, and stored forever. Ordinary people like your neighbors, your family, and you, the world's most powerful spy agency just got exposed. A $10 billion budget and 30,000 employees building technology that can read a license plate from space, all of it defeated by one person, a 29-year-old computer technician, just a guy with a laptop and a conscience. He forced the president to admit the government lied. 7 years later, a federal court declared the whole NSA program illegal. But how did a low-level contractor walk out with thousands of top-secret files? And why did he throw away his whole life to tell you what they were hiding? Spring 2013, Oahu, Hawaii. The beach is filled with tourists enjoying 78-degree weather, while Edward Snowden sits inside a windowless building. At 29, he works for Booz Allen Hamilton as an NSA infrastructure analyst, a job that involves maintaining computer systems and grants access, extending far beyond routine maintenance. Ed holds a top-secret clearance that exceeds most CIA officers. System administrators like him keep networks running, reset passwords, fix glitches. The agency hands them keys to everything because someone has to maintain the infrastructure. They never consider what happens when that someone starts reading classified files. Ed's screens display programs most Congress members have never heard of. Secret partnerships with 9 tech giants, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Apple. Each company feeds user data directly to government databases. Private emails, personal photos, chat messages, all copied without users knowing. That Facebook message to your girlfriend. The NSA saved it. That Google search you deleted lives on government servers forever. Another program chills him deeper. Upstream, the NSA physically taps fiber optic cables carrying internet traffic across oceans, all flowing through NSA collection points. Then comes the nightmare. X-Keyscore, a search engine for human lives. Any analyst types an email address and instantly pulls up that person's entire digital existence. Emails, passwords, bank records, medical files, and browser history all appear on screen with a single click. Curiosity becomes the only requirement. Ed learns analysts abuse these tools for fun. They spy on ex-girlfriends, read messages from attractive strangers. Insiders call it lovant. But something larger breaks him. March 12, 2013. Ed watches Director of National Intelligence James Clapper testify before Congress. Senator Ron Wyden asks a simple question. Does the NSA collect any type of data on millions of Americans? Clapper pauses, touches his forehead, answers under oath. The agency does not engage in that activity. He knows Clapper just deceived Congress on live television. The NSA collects data on everyone, locked away forever in Utah data centers. This becomes his breaking point. The Constitution protects against unreasonable searches. The NSA grabs all the data, keeps it all. The officials meant to supervise them just gave false testimony to the American people. Ed faces a choice: stay silent, keep his $200,000 salary, ignore everything he witnessed, or destroy his entire life to tell the truth. He chooses truth, but stealing secrets from an agency that monitors everything requires a perfect plan. Ed spent years studying how NSA tracking systems work and knows their weaknesses. The agency built walls to stop outside enemies. They forgot to watch the people already inside. The real question remained, how do you steal from an agency designed to catch thieves like you? January 2013. Ed sends his first encrypted message. He hides his identity and writes to Laura Poitras, a filmmaker the government already monitors for her critical documentaries. His words are brief. I have something important to share. She almost ignores it. People claiming secrets contact her weekly. Paranoid strangers fill her inbox with wild theories. But this sender knows encryption at a level that surprises her. The technical precision feels different. This person is real. Ed also contacts Glenn Greenwald, a Guardian journalist famous for challenging authority and exposing government abuse. But Greenwald barely knows how to protect his own email. Encryption confuses him. So Ed does something unusual. He makes a video tutorial teaching the basics step by step and sends it anonymously. Greenwald ignores the videos for weeks. Too much work. Probably another paranoid source wasting his time. Then Poitras calls him. This source is serious. Pay attention. Late March 2013, after watching Clapper deceive Congress on live television, Ed resigns from Dell and accepts a new position at Booz Allen Hamilton that pays less money than his current salary. Why would anyone choose a smaller paycheck? Ed knows exactly what he is doing. The new job opens doors. Booz Allen will place him deeper inside the NSA network than ever before. Now comes the hard part: stealing secrets from the NSA. System administrators hold special privileges inside intelligence agencies. They maintain servers, transfer files, and troubleshoot problems. The job requires access to almost everything. The NSA hands over these keys without hesitation. Ed uses his privileges to move through classified networks undetected. He copies documents onto thumb drives small enough to fit in a pocket. His credentials allow him to edit activity logs and erase digital footprints. Audits reveal nothing unusual. The Hawaii facility operates 5,000 miles from headquarters in Maryland, 6 time zones apart. When Ed works late downloading files, supervisors on the East Coast have already gone home. His clearance opens most doors. Some documents require higher authorization. Ed approaches colleagues and requests their login credentials for system maintenance purposes. The explanation sounds reasonable. Up to 25 employees share their passwords without suspicion. By May, Ed possesses over 1 million classified files, training manuals, court orders, presentation slides. The largest intelligence theft in American history fits on a few encrypted drives. The journalists agree to meet in person. Ed chooses Hong Kong carefully. The city sits far from American reach and maintains strong press protections. He tells his girlfriend Lindsay that work requires travel overseas. May 20th, 2013. Ed boards a plane from Hawaii carrying 4 laptops loaded with classified documents and one unusual item: a Rubik's Cube. He told the journalist to look for someone holding the puzzle toy. That signal will help them find him among the crowds. June 3rd, 2013, the Mira Hotel lobby in Hong Kong. Greenwald walks through the entrance, searching for his mysterious source. He expects someone older. Instead, he spots a young man twisting a puzzle cube near the elevators. This person looks like a computer technician. They go upstairs to room 1014. Ed closes the door and opens his laptop. The evidence appears on screen. A classified court order dated April 2013. Verizon must surrender phone records for every single customer to the NSA. Everyone. Millions of ordinary Americans tracked without their knowledge. Greenwald feels his hands tremble as he reads the document. More files follow. Presentation slides showing exactly how the system works. Diagrams revealing collection methods. Internal communications discussing expansion plans. Evidence proving the scope reaches far beyond what anyone imagined. Ed opens another folder. Diagrams showing how intelligence agencies tap directly into undersea cables, carrying internet traffic between continents. Emails, video calls, private photographs, all of it collected. The journalists work for 5 days straight, checking facts, verifying sources, writing stories that will shake foundations. Ed stays inside his hotel room, barely sleeping. He understands that hunters will start searching soon. After 5 days, the first story is complete. Greenwald stares at his screen and hovers over the publish button. One click alerts the most powerful intelligence agency on Earth that someone exposed their secrets. Ed watches from across the room. He tells Greenwald to send it. The button is pressed. Within hours, millions of people will learn their government watches them in secret. But knowing the truth is one thing. Will enough people actually care to demand change? June 5th, 2013. The Guardian website publishes its first story and crashes within minutes. The headline races across social media. Government secretly collects phone records of millions of ordinary citizens. Every major television network breaks into regular programming. Anchors hold up printed copies of classified documents. The only question everyone wants to know: did the government break the law? June 6th brings an even larger shockwave. Two newspapers publish simultaneously. Prism. Classified slides reveal that the biggest technology corporations in America share user data directly with intelligence agencies. The biggest tech giants, the companies people trust with their private lives. Tech executives rush to issue denials. We knew nothing about this program, but the classified slides contain their company logos under top-secret markings. The evidence speaks louder than press releases. James Clapper faces reporters. He warns that these leaks cause serious harm to national security. Journalists remind him of his testimony before Congress just months earlier. His explanation leaves viewers puzzled. He claims he provided the response he considered most accurate under the circumstances. The NSA director appears before Congress drenched in sweat. He insists these surveillance programs prevented dozens of terrorist attacks. Investigators find zero evidence supporting it. The bulk collection program produced no results that stopped any imminent threat. Each day brings fresh revelations. Programs tracking billions of digital communications. Tools mapping the online activity of entire nations. Then foreign leaders begin discovering uncomfortable truths. Germany's chancellor learns American intelligence monitored her personal phone calls. Brazil's president finds out her private emails sat in NSA databases. Dozens of world leaders. Close allies, all targeted. Diplomatic relationships fracture overnight. June 9th, 2013. The mysterious source steps out of the shadows. Ed records a video in his Hong Kong hotel room that will eventually reach 50 million viewers. He speaks calmly into the camera and reveals his identity to the world. My name is Edward Snowden. I am 29 years old. I worked for the NSA. I am responsible for these disclosures. Social media erupts within seconds. Ed becomes the most discussed person on the planet. Supporters celebrate him as a defender of freedom. Critics condemn him as a traitor who endangered lives. Television commentators struggle to make sense of what they witness. A young man with a laptop just exposed the largest surveillance operation in history. The government moves quickly. Prosecutors file charges under the Espionage Act, the same statute used against foreign spies. Theft of classified materials. Unauthorized disclosure of defense secrets. The combined charges carry potential punishment of several decades behind bars. Hong Kong becomes the center of global attention. Cameras surround the Mira Hotel. Ed checks out on June 10th and disappears into hiding with help from local supporters. American officials demand immediate arrest and extradition. Hong Kong authorities respond slowly. They cite incomplete paperwork, missing documentation, administrative complications. Behind the scenes, Beijing weighs its options. Capturing Ed offers little benefit. Embarrassing Washington offers plenty. Every passing hour makes American intelligence look powerless. A global audience watches the pursuit unfold live. One individual against the full resources of a superpower. But how do you disappear when the people chasing you can track any phone, monitor any camera, and watch any border on Earth? June 23rd, 2013. Dawn breaks over Hong Kong. The sun rises over Victoria Harbor. The city wakes up to another humid summer morning. Ed stands in the International Airport terminal, having a passport that American officials will invalidate within hours. He carries a small bag. Everything he owns now fits inside it. A flight to Moscow begins boarding. He joins the queue surrounded by ordinary travelers heading home to Russia, business people checking phones, families with children. Nobody recognizes the most wanted man in America standing among them. Thousands of miles away, Washington scrambles to stop him. Urgent calls Hong Kong government offices. Arrest him before takeoff. Hong Kong officials respond with delays. The aircraft doors close. He watches the city disappear through the window. A man without a home flying toward an uncertain future. Touchdown in Moscow. Stay inside the transit area without entering Russia. Catch another flight to South America. Ecuador offered asylum. So did Venezuela. Ed just needs to reach them. Washington destroys that plan with a single phone call. Ed lands at the Moscow airport. American authorities void his passport completely. The document in his pocket becomes worthless paper. Airlines refuse passengers without valid identification. Russian border agents will not admit someone carrying canceled travel documents. Ed finds himself trapped in an impossible space, unable to enter the country, stuck inside an airport terminal with no way out. 40 days pass inside that building. Ed sleeps on benches built to discourage rest. He survives on packaged food from terminal shops. He wears the same outfit. Young Russian travelers spot him and request photographs. The famous American who embarrassed his government poses for selfies beside departure gates. Washington refuses to let him disappear quietly. American diplomats contact governments worldwide demanding cooperation. Threats follow, consequences for any nation that helps him. The pursuit reaches a shocking extreme in early July. Bolivia's president travels home from an international meeting in Russia. Intelligence agencies spread rumors that Ed hides aboard the presidential plane. European nations respond without hesitation. France blocks the aircraft from its skies. Spain does the same. Portugal and Italy follow. A sitting head of state finds himself grounded in Austria like a common suspect. Officials board his plane searching for the American fugitive. They find nothing. Bolivia's leader walks away. He later warns that if powerful countries treat presidents this way, ordinary people face far worse. Ed remains stuck in Moscow. He applies for protection from over 20 nations. Every request fails. Governments fear Washington more than they care about one person seeking shelter. August 1st, 2013. Russia breaks the silence. Authorities grant Ed temporary permission to stay. He walks out of the airport wearing clothes he has worn for over a month. He steps into a country he never planned to live in. A nation that becomes home only because everywhere else refused him. The American president cancels diplomatic meetings with Russian leadership. Media coverage turns hostile, and commentators call Ed a foreign agent. Officials describe him as a traitor who fled to enemies. Reality tells a different story. Ed simply exhausted every alternative. Other countries closed their doors. Russia remained the only option besides surrender. He chose exile over imprisonment. The price of truth proved steeper than he ever imagined. His country considers him as a criminal. His freedom depends on a government he never intended to rely upon. But after everything Ed sacrificed, did his actions actually make any difference? September 2nd, 2020. 7 years after Ed exposed the surveillance programs, a federal court delivers its verdict. The judges rule that the NSA phone collection program violated the law from the very beginning. Intelligence officials who stood before cameras defending these programs gave misleading statements to the public they served. The court confirms exactly what Ed tried to tell the world back in 2013. Everything he sacrificed his life to reveal finally receives official recognition. Ed reads the decision from his small apartment in Moscow. He shares his reaction online, admitting he never imagined living long enough to witness American courts condemn the very programs he exposed. The validation arrived 7 years too late to change his circumstances. The years between his dramatic escape and this ruling brought measurable changes across multiple fronts. Technology companies moved first in response to the revelations. Terrified of losing customers who now understood the risks their data faced, major corporations completely redesigned their products from the ground up. Privacy transformed from an afterthought into a selling point. Apple built phones that even Apple engineers themselves cannot unlock. The company that once cooperated with surveillance now markets security as its core promise. WhatsApp introduced end-to-end encryption protecting 2 billion users worldwide. Private messages became completely unreadable to anyone except the sender and receiver. Conversations finally stayed between the people having them. The surveillance programs Ed exposed accidentally made future surveillance significantly harder to conduct. President Obama addressed the nation in early 2014, acknowledging growing concerns about government overreach into private lives. He announced reforms and new oversight committees designed to prevent future abuse. Critics noted that these changes came only after intense public pressure made them politically unavoidable. The reforms felt reactive rather than principled. The real legislative victory arrived in June 2015. Congress passed the USA Freedom Act, officially ending the bulk phone collection program Ed first revealed to the world. The government could no longer vacuum up calling records from millions of ordinary citizens going about their daily lives. The law represented the first significant restriction placed on intelligence agencies since the September 11th attacks reshaped American security policy. International consequences spread even wider across the globe. Brazil constructed entirely new internet infrastructure specifically designed to avoid American surveillance capabilities. European nations passed strict privacy laws carrying billion-dollar penalties for violations by corporations. The revelations fractured trust between longtime allies who discovered their private communications sat in American databases without their knowledge or consent. Intelligence officials maintained their position firmly despite the court ruling. They call Ed a traitor who damaged national security. Their evidence supporting this claim remains classified behind closed doors. Trust us, they repeat. The same officials who misled Congress and the public about surveillance programs now ask citizens to believe their assessment of Ed. Today, Ed lives somewhere in Moscow. He obtained Russian citizenship he never wanted and never sought. He calls the country home only because returning to America means spending decades behind prison walls. He appears at conferences through encrypted video connections and speaks about privacy and digital rights to audiences worldwide. Ed accepts no payment for these appearances. He maintains that exposing mass surveillance was the right decision, regardless of the enormous personal cost he paid. The debate about his legacy remains deeply divided. Some consider him a patriot who sacrificed everything to inform citizens. Others view him as a criminal who betrayed his country and fled to a foreign adversary. Both perspectives exist simultaneously, depending entirely on who tells the story. Perhaps the real question ignores Ed entirely. The question that truly matters focuses on you. Do you have more privacy today because of what he revealed? Or did surveillance simply grow quieter and more sophisticated in its methods? When you send a message, make a call, or search the internet tonight, who else watches alongside you? Ed answered those questions in 2013. The answers cost him everything he had. The only remaining question is what you choose to do with the truth.